We've got a few notable projects. A couple of them I had not heard about. Some of you that pay attention to this stuff may have already, but let me find it. So, got heard about the Union Soccer Stadium project. 332 million just passed by the city of Omaha. TIF in the amount of 48 million bucks. So this has been the third location that has been proposed, and I think I think this is inked now. 11th and Izzard, Millwork Commons area, so north of downtown, north of the stadium. There's going to be 20 acres worth of development, mixed use, 500 residential units being brought online, $332 million to build a soccer stadium. Man, football. This one I hadn't heard about, which is a little surprising. I guess they already have signage up, but there was an at-home store in CB over off the 24th Street exit. If you guys know where that is, kind of by the casino area. Brett, you probably frequent there. It's going to be, anybody know what it's going to be? Want to take a guess? That's right. Yeah, Blue Galaxy Family Fun Center, and it's what is it? 80,000 square foot space. So I'm going to give it a year. I don't know how it's going to do. 80,000 square feet is a lot of square footage over there. Will be kind of cool. CB doesn't really have anything like that, so we'll see how it does.
Is like Joe's Carving not there in CB anymore? Because that's just on the other side of the.
I don't think it is over by the movie theater. I don't think it's open anymore. I could be wrong, but because like I don't know what the place is called in Elkhorn. It was called the Mark for a while. They have like bowling and go-karts. Yeah, arcade. It's traded hands, I think, like 3 or 4 times. So those places are cool, but they're short-lived a lot of times. So is it? Okay, I didn't realize. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They go like once a year. Hollywood Casino is replacing Ameristar Casino. I didn't know this. You guys know this? 135,000 square feet of new build on the existing parking lot. I don't know what they're going to do with the old structure. Is it? Oh, they're going to just connect it? Yeah, so that's interesting. I don't know what the price tag on that bad boy is, but that's coming up. And then, yeah, those are kind of the 3 notables I was going to bring up. Anybody know of any other projects that have kicked off that are worth kind of staying abreast of? Hollywood Casino. Yep. Oh, is that what it is? So that's the Omaha news. Why don't we do this? There's a couple new people here. We haven't gone around the table in a little bit. Here's what I'm going for today. Who you are, what you work on. If you have anything you're actively working on right now, like Rob and I were just talking about a deal he's got under contract that's been a long time to completion flip, and he's got it, knock on wood, selling next week. So let's do that. That'll give us some jumping off points here with conversations. We can spend a little bit of time on that, or a lot if you guys are interested in what everybody's working on. Want to go next?
Yeah. Colby Kaiser, commercial lender at Mid-States Bank. Do anything within the investor space alongside with businesses, so traditional lines of credit, everything of that nature.
Just pretend Ted's not here, even though he's putting microphones in your face. I did not know he was doing this today, so this won't be used against you later, I promise.
I'm Nathan Alvarado. We do a lot of single families, multifamilies, majority single families, and just doing BRRRR method. We do a couple flips here and there, but nothing too crazy. We got 6 active construction projects right now. We got a 5-plex that we should close on today.
Is that in CB or Omaha, or where's that one?
That's in Ralston. It's a nice one, super cheap too.
Is it built for purpose or
built
conversion?
For purpose. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
We're getting it for $125.
The whole thing?
Yeah, and it needs 120 worth of work. It's already pre-appraised for 500. So I was like, let's go. There's some title issues.
Off market, obviously.
Yeah, there's some title issues with it right now. We're working on it, and then we found there's a second lien last Friday on it, and we're working on getting the payoff, but it should close today, hopefully. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that was gonna be some fun.
Yeah. So built for purpose fiveplex in Ralston.
Yep. Well, so it's technically South O, but it's 5 minutes from the Warhorse. So it's really
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
So it's like, 44th and Redmond is Dundee.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what we're doing here?
Well, it's like my fire property when they posted it on the news and they said near Midtown. I was like, oh, it's not North O. It's not
Yeah.
North O.
Near Midtown is an ever expanding radius, I
Right,
think.
right.
So okay, that's awesome. Well, keep us posted on that, man. I'm super interested in that
Yeah.
one. 6 construction projects. You mentioned we throughout your statements there.
Our
Who's
team? It's me.
Oh,
It's
the
just our
royal we.
team. Yeah,
Got it.
I always mention we because we have our in-house crews and then we have in-house property management too.
okay?
Yep.
And is that a different hat you put on for each one of those, or do you have somebody that's in charge of property management work? And
So we just fired our leasing lady 2 days ago. She was kind of doing her own thing. So we're looking for new people right now. So there's a guy that's taking care of it for right now for the meantime for our property management side. And then I have an operation manager for the construction side right now.
okay,
So
cool,
moving and grooving.
love it. Are you using, if you don't mind, are you using like bank debt? Or are you using
Yep.
private money, hard money? Okay,
Yep, we have one deal with Midstate. We've been using a lot of ag banks too. Santa Hills have been helping us out a lot. And
do you have it set up to where you have like an operating line of credit that you can pull off of for rehab costs, or do you typically try to get the financing rolled into that?
as of 2 days ago, I do. So
Okay,
now I have an operating line of credit, which is pretty cool, and we can just buy off of that.
yeah,
And then also sometimes we have private private money that we use at like 10%, 12%, as well as sometimes we use hard money too. Just kind of depends
Mhm.
how our deal structure and the money is at the time. But
yep, yeah. 6 rehab projects can eat up a lot of
Yeah.
cheddar.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We got 4 other single families under contract closing next month too. So it's gonna
Dang,
be some fun.
busy.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting your winter lined up.
Yeah,
I like it. Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
So I've just been.
What's your name?
Kathy Hansen. Just a smaller investor and have some midterms. And I been mostly looking at where to go from here. We're at retirement. My husband just retired, so we're kind of adjusting to that and figuring out if we want to do more or less. I'm really itching to do more, but I don't want to get in there and work on them. So I'm probably looking for people to help as contractors. And what else? My son needs a job, so if you need help, project manager, but he's roofing, siding, all that for years, and he's kind of wanting to get out, do something different.
Okay. What line of work was your husband in?
He was a foundation, and he's still helping a little bit, still coaching, but foundations for big, new, cut up huge things, and then he did additions and walls that are needed all over Omaha.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anyway, thanks.
My name's Andy Schock. I do a lot of fix and flips. I have technically 9 under construction right now, 2 on the market to sell, and a couple under contract to buy. And my big exciting project working for the last 11 months is my 60-unit complex in Council Bluffs. Got the appraisal back for the refi on that this morning.
And how'd it go?
Maximum loan amount. Right. Actually, the appraisal did not go where it was extremely conservative. The right way I would describe it. I think they appraised very low. Stuff is appraising out in the market, but maximum loan amount is exactly what I want to pull out of it. So,
Okay.
So I'm very cool about it. Yeah, because I wanted to pull basically all my money back out and just walk away with $0 into the deal. That's where I am. So I'm not going to argue an appraisal that's
Okay. So let's
purely academic.
postmortem this. I'm familiar with property you're talking about. I actually looked at it with some partners before Andy bought it. And so 60 units in a really good spot in kind of the Twin City area in Council Bluffs, if you guys are familiar with that at all. But Lewis Central School District, a lot of people want to live there. you bought it off market. Well, it was technically on market.
Yeah, kind of off.
It went off and on and off and on. Basically, the seller was in quite a bit of financial distress, and they had to. They were trying to do a workout with the bank. Some really aggressive buyers came in and looked at it, and they didn't like our offer. And then you guys came in, bought it.
It even got more complex than that, actually. So here's the weird part: the original seller ended up deeding it to that bank.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it from the bank. The bank actually got a bunch of heat from their regulators because they had taken a whole bunch of stuff on from this guy, and it made their books bad. And the bank got told, this needs to be off your books by the end of your fiscal year.
Oh, okay. So
Okay?
enter you.
So the end of their fiscal year was December 1 of last year. We negotiated on it. We agreed on a price, all that kind of stuff. We're going through closing. There was some additional title encumbrances that showed up. Turns out there was a second, even the seller, because the bank was the seller, they didn't even know about. They ended up taking, I think, $150,000 loss when they sold it to me, to cover the second. We had some appraisal challenges at the acquisition side. Got it closed. We had to do some creative financing stuff on it because I think 8 or 9 days before closing,
Yep.
the mortgage, the appraisal came back low, and the cash to close jumped by $400,000.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we had to bring in some.
A week before closing.
A week before closing, yeah. And the seller could not extend because the seller's bank and the seller's regulator was going to absolutely hammer them. So it was one of these, well, like, $400,000 is one thing. $400,000, can we come up with $400,000? Is one thing. Can I come up with $400,000 in the next 7 days is another thing, right? Like those
Yeah.
are two different problems entirely. Because do I know people with $400,000? Sure. Do I know people who can write a check tomorrow for $400,000?
So this was
together on some stuff.
one piece of color commentary I wanted to
Yeah.
add to this too.
Yeah.
When I was looking at the deal, this would have been maybe a couple of months before you guys
Yeah.
started looking at it. There was a second mortgage that was held by a dude that ended up dying, and that then went to his estate or heirs. And my understanding was it was some lady out of Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken,
I think so.
that was a $2 million note on top of it might have been a couple million that was still owed at the bank.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, well, we can kind of afford to play hardball here because this is going to get wiped out completely. So we tried negotiating, and she just wouldn't budge off of that number. So I don't know what ended up happening to that second. She could have walked away with nothing. I don't know.
The bank paid her. The bank paid her because
They didn't want to go through the entire foreclosure process. So that sounds like they got a deed in lieu of foreclosure.
Got a deed in lieu.
Yep.
But they took it subject.
Weird.
And so her note was still existing when the bank owned it. Her note was still in effect. And then they had to sell it to us before December 1st. So on the last business day of November, it came off sale proceeds were multiple six figures underwater, is what I was told.
Wow.
The deal. But
So-
they were told, not quite at gunpoint, but they were told by the regulators that they will be in deep water, that they're going to be really glad to be out of the problem.
Look, for those of you that haven't dealt with deals of this size, so this is 60 units, it's a $4+ million acquisition.
We paid $4.2 million to purchase it, all in with renovations and everything, all in at 4.8.
4.8. That's pretty good because that
Yes.
place was
It was
a lot of vacancy, basically being mismanaged for years, a lot of deferred maintenance.
It had been grossly neglected
Yeah.
for years and years. I've heard all kinds of stories from the on-site property manager who's been there for 20 years.
Yeah, they had taken roof claims or exterior claims and just pocketed it. So the roofs had holes in them, tarps over them.
The roofs were so bad you could see the roofs were bad on the listing photos, which is
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
When the
Even with
drone
AI.
photo from
AI's like, I don't know what to do with this, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, the roof is, you look at the roof and it's terrible. The siding it had like wood shake mansards on everything that were all rotten and terrible. The parking lot was appalling. We're actually redoing the parking lot today.
Yeah. So I wanted to highlight this because it's a really cool deal. And the way you guys did it, you had about, I think you said, what, 600 in rehab costs? Was that where you ended up?
Probably I think we actually paid, I just moved the goalpost $100,000 in my head right now while I'm talking. I think we paid 4.1 for it.
4.1, okay.
4.8.
Yep.
So we have 700,000 in renovations
Yeah.
into it. Roofs, siding, about 30 units, so half the units had to be turned and remodeled. What's really cool about this complex is half of the units are rented to, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the neighborhood in Council Bluffs. There's a giant greenhouse building over next to the Amazon warehouse that does basically fresh microgreens and produce and stuff that they sell to restaurants. It's like premium produce sold into the local market. It's like, you have a nice restaurant in Omaha and you're like, hey, I need cilantro. It was picked 3 hours ago. They're your people. They bring in itinerant workers, mostly from Middle America. They do it all above board. It's all legal. They have all the paperwork. But these people are brought in for 9 months at a time to work in this greenhouse. So it's a corporate tenant with a corporate lease that leases 30 of these units.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
And they're paying market rent. They pay for every maintenance claim. They're very accommodating with maintenance. They're very reasonable about maintenance and repair stuff. They pay for the entire year on January 1, which is nice.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So you could, I didn't know that. Wow. So you can.
They cut us a $400,000 rent check on January. That's
I hadn't heard that part of the story. That is amazing, dude.
They're awesome.
Yeah. So that,
Does not
and then,
suck. No, I'm just arbitraging the interest on that loan. We just took that and stuck it in a high interest savings account, and that alone is a significant amount in NOI.
yeah. And the thing about that property too is there's some 3-bedroom units, several of those, which are very hard to find in that vintage, especially.
There's about 24 3-bedroom units. There's 8 1-bedroom units. Weirdly, the 1-bedrooms are the hardest or the easiest to lease.
Huh.
The 1-bedrooms are, because they're big. They're
900
square feet. But we get calls all the time on those. We have 2 that we're going to turn next week, that we're going to turn next month. And we already have people we have a waiting list. The 2-bedroom, we have 2-bedroom units. So there's 24 3 beds, 8 1-beds, and whatever the balance of that would be, 20, I guess it'd be 24. 26. No, 26 2-bedrooms, yeah. And the 2-bedrooms, they're all leased. We're at 100% occupancy, which is awesome. We've been at 100% occupancy for about 6 weeks.
So I know you just got the appraisal back. You said today or yesterday?
It came in at 8:30 this morning.
Awesome. And
I saw it in the car while I was driving down I-80. I swear I was in the middle.
When did you guys consider using agency debt on that, or was it you just wanted to get it done and it worked?
We looked at it. The agency brokers I talked to suggested that it's just on the small side of when agency debt makes sense cost-wise. The broker I talked to said, if you're talking a $10 million property, it really totally makes sense. But that below a $5 or $6 million loan, it's kind of a toss-up. And the bank that we got the construction loan through actually gave us pretty good terms. We're at 6.0.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 6 and nuts. 6. Say again.
3 years or 5?
5 years on a 20-year AM.
6 years fixed.
Yeah. So
That's a big dollar.
I mean, they wanted it pretty bad, and so I decided I wasn't going to fight them on that.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah. 6.
Especially because you know, we've got another property we're looking at, and you know, if we keep the relationship going there, I think they'll be pretty accommodating in the next one too. So
Super cool.
yeah, so that's been really cool. It was, you know, there's always a million things you did not expect, you did not underwrite for. For example, you know, we had the plumber come and look at the laundry room in January. Turns out commercial laundry equipment has like a 3-month lead time right now in Omaha to order it. So January, plumber came, signed off on all the plumbing, everything was great. The day the laundry machines were installed, I decided it would be a good idea to just hit test on all the machines and see what happened. Every single drain backed up. The entire laundry building had to have the floor jacked up. Every inch of plumbing in that entire building had to be ripped out and replaced. It was all garbage. There was not 1 foot of usable pipe, all the way to the 6-inch sewer main that runs through the entire complex, and that whole building was gone. It was absolute garbage.
Are you guys doing, so I assume then if
Stuff
you had
like
to
that.
purchase the equiment, you just manage it yourself, the repair and maintenance of the machines, collecting the money and all that.
We own. I actually really enjoy going and collecting quarters. I have a Menards pail in the back of my car, and my routine is after this I go and I empty the quarters so nobody mug me on my way home.
It'll be hard.
Yeah,
Difficult to
it
mug
kind of is. Like it's
How big is the
surprising.
laundry room? How many units?
There's 11 machines total. So we have 5 stacked combo speed meat cleans, so the washer on the bottom, dryer on the top, and then a single dryer so that we're ADA compliant.
Hey, question. Did you consider, or are there any in-unit laundry apartments?
We looked at it. We decided it would be too CapEx heavy to implement that, and from a floor plan perspective, it would be just kind of awkward.
Yeah, because it's 3 stories, right? So you'd have, or is it 2?
It's all 2 stories.
But then you'd have, if you try to do that on the second floor, you'd have the drain line issues. Plus,
Exactly.
where do you tie in? And you're going to have a lot of, that makes sense.
Exactly. Where do you put it? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That said, one of the great things about this property is there's a lot of buildable acreage on it, and it's in as you say, a really desirable location. And we're kicking around the idea of adding some more units on the back there. There's like a big soccer field basically in the back, and there's room to put probably 24 more units on the back of it. And if we do that, we'll probably do in-unit laundry in those.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
But the coin op is quite lucrative. I mean, I did with more than half of our occupants, because 30 units, they're putting 2 people to a bedroom, and they have 3 and 2-bedroom units. So I estimate 60 to 70% of the bodies there are those itinerant workers, and they are gone basically gone right now. Like they're gone from like August through about January.
So they're probably on an 8-month visa.
Yeah.
An H-2B visa.
They're on a 9-month visa, but they actually serve multiple locations. The problem is it gets too hot in the greenhouse to do microgreens after late July in our market. So then they move them north to like Minnesota.
Interesting.
And they serve those markets. So the workers are only actually in Council Bluffs for like 6 or 7 months out of the year, but they pay for the whole year, so I don't care. And the other thing that's cool is they have like a house dad type person, like a supervisor that inspects the
house dad.
No, they have, it's more like the military. There's a manager that comes by and inspects every apartment every week. So when we walked this property, by far the 30 units that this commercial tenant rents were the best units. They're all clean. Everybody's stuff was put away. There was no bugs, no issues at all.
Now, how did you get lined up with these people? Did you just happen to have a couple of applicants that worked there, and then you're like, let's look into this?
They've actually been there for a while. They've been
Okay.
there for a few years.
Huh.
Like 6 or 7 years, I think.
Did you know that going into the acquisition, or did it just kind of happenstance?
We found that out in due diligence that they were there. We were interested in the property before And during due diligence, we found that out and got a lot more interested after the company that does this, it's Overlook is the name of the company. It's really cool. The owner of that company, he signs the lease personally. He still works with us directly, but he has 25,000 employees. So it's a big operation, but he's still like accessible. We have his cell phone number. Like, there's a problem, we can text him direct. The arrangement is, hey, hit up my assistant. If it doesn't get fixed, let me know, and I'll make sure it is taken care of. Which is great. I mean, they're the best tenants I can think of.
What kind of lease do you have with them?
Year to year, 12 months.
Oh, it's just a 1 year?
It's a 1 year. That said, they're kind of stuck on that property. There's not a lot of other games in the neighborhood.
Well, to harbor that many at one spot is probably their key. They want to control that
And
group
we're
of people.
right next door.
Yeah, that's.
You know, so it makes, as long as we are good to them, I think they're going to continue to be good to us.
The thing that's really cool about this, and I will say, having some experience in buying off-market multifamily that has a ton of deferred maintenance, I've done similar things to what Andy's talking about, and these are kind of the equivalent. You know, we talk all the time about BRRRRs, and a lot of people when they first get started work on single family, and most people grew up in a house, so they're familiar with, okay, this is what a house is supposed to be like. Multifamily gets some level of intimidation because it's a whole different, kind of animal, because there's commercial debt. The valuation isn't based on comps, it's based on net operating income. But I love, the reason I wanted to spend time talking about this is because it's such a cool, these don't happen all the time either. Like, you don't find off-market 60 units that are perfectly situated for a big rehab, and then you can pull all your money out. And these are very hard to find. But the more you understand this type of process is possible, the more times that you can start entering conversations where things like this come up. And this is the equivalent of having 60 single-family BRRRRs completed once you're done with this project, and it took plus or minus 12 months, right?
A thing I'm just going to straight own. I looked at this a month or so before my partner Dane brought it to me, and I went, I'm not touching that piece of crap.
Yeah.
I straight looked at it and was like, this is ridiculous.
Way too much work.
Yeah, no, and one of the things you have to remember is that distress, like, a big problem is where the big opportunity is. And that's been the big growth experience for me, is like, this has been such a great teaching experience, I guess. Because like,
this was the biggest one you had done,
this is
like,
the
right?
biggest single deal I've ever done. Yeah.
Yep.
And when I walked away from it, I was like, well, I looked at it, I was like, I'm not going to do this by myself. This is, when I first looked at it, for example, there's been a sewer snake stuck in a drain in a unit for 2 years. And that unit had just not been rented because somebody ran a sewer snake down the drain in the kitchen
And busted it.
Stuck. And this owner's solution was just to not rent that unit.
Just use it as storage. Yeah.
Right. No, there was then there was the storage unit.
Oh, that was a different one.
There
Okay.
was a 3-bedroom that was full of like paint that they'd gotten. No, seriously, that's how messed up this complex was. A 3-bedroom apartment entirely full of discount paint from like Lowe's and Menards and stuff, and like mist tints and stuff. And because the guy just liked buying mist tint paint, there was a wall of paint cans. Like, he lined them up, probably from here to the wall. Eye high to me, there had to have been 150 paint cans, all full.
I forgot about
of
that.
just whatever mist tint, that you got for $1 at Menards. You figure, oh, I'll get paint. I'll use it eventually. That's a unit that rents for $1,500 a month.
That's expensive.
So, okay, hang on. I want to highlight something here.
No,
So you have 2 downed units because the owner was a dipshit or just didn't have the
No.
financial wherewithal. Go ahead.
Keep counting, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So let's just take 2. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got $1,500 a month, right?
Mhm.
And so times 2, we got $3K a month. That's $36,000 a year, right?
Uh-huh.
So let's cut it in half. A lot, quick and dirty rule of thumb on commercial valuations, 50% rule.
Mhm.
You take half of your income, and that's generally going to be around where your expenses lie, right? Depending on who's managing it, if you have third party, in-house, whatever. Let's use, so 18 grand. Somebody pull this at a 7 cap. Just for conversation's sake here.
$257,142.
Okay, 200, let's call it 250 grand. Just having 2 units down in a 60 unit property cost you 250K in valuation. You don't find that in single family stuff, guys. So just by cleaning that out, getting it operational again and leased, you added $250,000 just in 2 apartments. And that's why commercial is so like amazing, is you can look for opportunities where expenses are high, or the owner has a whole bunch of expenses loaded into their T12, which is a trailing 12 months worth of expenses, right? So I see this all the time. We've underwritten deals in this, in this environment where you have a property that they're putting all of their personal like truck expenses, cell phones. Maybe they have a company phone line because they think it's going to save money in taxes. Well, guess what? That cuts both ways. So, when you're trying to position something either for a refi or a potential sale, you want to pay attention to your valuation. And the way to do that is to really get lean on your operating expenses and improve wherever you can your income line items. So that's amazing. Just right there, that's the opportunity. In a problem, there's always an opportunity.
And some of those are really hilarious. Like I'm storing a ton of paint, right? Or some of those are, here's a unit that I just didn't turn for some reason, right? But some of them are also operating blind spots. Is the other thing that you should watch for. Is like the other thing we found in this is the front single family unit. This was built in 1978. The front unit, the single family there, was being used as an office. Spotless. Beautiful. The only thing the office was being used for is the copy machine was there, and the former owner's wife would sit there on the first of the month behind the desk and collect rent in person.
And play solitaire.
And play solitaire all day. The fastest place I've ever added income to any business ever in my entire life was we carried the desk out to the street, and the next day we rented that unit. We did nothing else to it. We just
so that's probably
threw the desk away, moved the copy machine to the garage, and added $1,000 of rent right there.
So again, that's probably 100 grand in value that you created just by moving a desk, right? You can't do that in single family, right? You can make different moves in single family than in commercial and multifamily, but geez, that's $350,000 worth of income just by using it for what it was intended for.
But the operator thought he needed an office, right? Like the problem is not just, it wasn't negligence necessarily. It was, yes, I think the storage office that's just negligence. But the thinking you need an office is just about how you think about how your business operates too. Like that's more of an operational blind spot, and not realizing that it's the 21st century. We can pretty much do all of our tenant management through an app now. We all have cell phones. We don't need an office to play solitaire in. Like thinking through how your business process works and how the physical asset influences your business process, and how your business process influences what you actually need on the ground in terms of a physical asset, is also, there's a lot of opportunity in that can be captured in that as well.
The hilarious part about this is, I would say maybe a half mile from this property, there's a beautiful storage facility where you can probably get a decent sized storage unit for $100 or $150.
Yeah.
He could have just paid somebody, $100 to move all that stuff over there and then increase the value of his property by a huge multiple.
The cash flow from one of those units would have paid for the storage unit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah.
It's just all the operational stuff you got to think through.
Now, I wasn't intending to do how all this ended up working out this conversation, but I do want to come back to this. Debt maturities and dealing directly with lenders on assets that have maturing portfolios or maturing assets where debt is in trouble and people are having to scramble because they got interest rates in the 3s or 4s 5 years ago, and a lot of that debt is resetting. So there's going to be $168 billion worth of debt resetting in 2027 that was originated in 2022. So those people are probably either A, in trouble, or B, going to be under a crushing amount of increase in debt service, because let's face it, leverage everything was the popular thing back then. You had a lot of syndicators that were pretty new into the business that got floating rate interest rates, or maybe they got a 5-year balloon, and now it's going to double their interest rate, and their debt service is going to crush their portfolio. So there's a lot of opportunities that can be had by this situation, and I would encourage you guys, if you're dealing with commercial lenders, that you have a conversation and just say, hey, are there any, and I don't know if you're even allowed, you in particular, or if that's like a branch president or market president that has to have that conversation, but who's like, let's use Mid-States, for example. Like, do you have somebody that's in charge of managing like troubled loans? And not to pick on you guys, but
so like in Mid-States, it's your loan, your portfolio, that's who you cover. So if you have someone in your portfolio that you brought on or you inherited it, that distressed loan is with the lender itself. I know at bigger institutions, I came from US banks or large institutions, we had Special Assets Group, SAG is what it was called. So with the larger institutions, and maybe some of the smaller.
SAG? What a terrible acronym. I mean, do you want, yeah. Hey, generally they want it to be like, yeah, special assets or whatever, but SAG? What a terrible acronym.
So there's a Special Assets Group that distressed loans go to, and then you have a, say, subject matter expert that covers it. They're it doesn't matter where they're located.
Yep.
But they're not local, so it would be bank-wide. They would cover all throughout the United States.
So generally on a smaller to like regional sized bank, like Mid-States has how many branches? Is it a dozen? 10. Yep. So you guys would have your commercial lender that you have my file, let's say, and I start getting into trouble, or the debt service is going to reset, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to cover this for long. You're going to start paying attention to that. When you get to a larger bank that has a bigger portfolio of loans, you're going to have a specialty group, a SAG group, that handles basically the health of the overall portfolio. And they have to manage that through the process. And you may get into situations where Andy comes in the door and says, hey, I'm interested in this asset. We have, the seller, we're talking, and then you take it to the bank. Is that generally like what happens behind the scenes? Can you give us an inside baseball on?
I would just say, like, we're always looking at loans and when they're coming up to maturity. So the big topic is your 5-year balloons that are coming up.
Yep.
Your 3.5s that are now repricing at 6.5, 7%, depending on what the asset is. I would say a lot of those conversations are happening up front. There's a lot of different ways that you can work to mitigate it. I know previously we stretched out some AMs. So they were down to 15 years. We stretched them back out to 20 to help with that cash flow coverage. So there's different options from that nature. I never personally saw it, but I think in other markets where with larger deals, they're having to bring cash to the table to essentially right-size the loan, to bring it up to, depending on the bank, 120 to a 125. So those are a couple different factors. So there's ways that banks will work with you. It's not like we don't want to sell it either. I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to.
We don't want to go through that hassle. No bank wants to. So we're going to work with our borrowers and try to find the best solution.
Now, let's say I've had a few situations like this where I knew somebody that had a property. They had a commercial note on it. They were having trouble covering that service. I was able to actually come in and qualify to take over the loan, which was great for me because it's already into the amortization period a little bit. And I knew, timing's different now with debt resetting and so forth, but I've been able to kind of like qualify to step in their place and work it out to where I didn't have to go through and get brand new debt and then have to come with 20% down or 25% down or whatever. Does that happen also? I know
I personally haven't seen it.
Yeah.
In either spots that I've been at. I know that other institutions were offering it if you were a qualified buyer to be able to step in. I personally just haven't. I guess I'm fortunate enough, a lot of my larger, called the D&I developer and investors, a lot of my larger clients were able to cover any right sizing that needed to be done, or we stretched out the AM. So we work with them from that nature that you need to sell. So I can't personally.
Yeah, no, but
I know institutions are doing it. I just personally, the 2 places I've been, not seen it.
this is such a great conversation though, because like having you in the crowd here is very helpful to understand, like, does this actually work, or what's the banker really think about that? So I appreciate the commentary.
Probably not hard to sell.
Yeah.
Like if you were to come to me with it today, I can't say, but I don't think it'd be something we push for, just because because we would need to evaluate you, especially if you're new to the bank. We would have to look at you personally versus hopping in and taking over someone else's line.
Yeah, no, this is great, great comments, but like read between the lines here too. If you already have a banking relationship at a smaller to mid-sized bank, you have the inside track to have those type of opportunities where you may have, and you're probably going to be one of the first people that knows if a buyer's in or a seller of a property or somebody that owns a property that has a loan on it is getting into some hot water, right? So that, like, have these conversations. Just make it part of your standard practice. If you're like, hey, timing might be good for me to take on a new asset. I'm looking around, and this applies to single family to an extent, but not. I would say it's more. Yeah. So if this type of stuff is interesting to you, at least file it away for future use. But just know that these are real conversations you can have with people you're currently doing business with. If you're not asking the question, you're never going to know.
Well, even in your due diligence piece, you're gonna find out that, let's say it's for sale,
Mhm.
or you're just talking to me, and you know that I have debt on the property, maybe that is a assumable piece, so you don't have to start that AM over, even though that might reprice in a year or two.
Yep.
But it still might benefit you to get 5.5 on a bulk of it versus
Yeah.
doing it all at 7.5.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep.
So it is possible sometimes, not all the time.
And Rob has a background in, how long were you in commercial lending? 10 years?
It's 10 in commercial, 20 in bank.
Yep. So yeah, super helpful to have that. So I appreciate you guys chiming in.
So we're gonna call up the
Yeah.
US Bank and ask for the worst sagging of.
Hey, let me talk to the
SAG.
This is great. SAG. Yeah. How do you know that? You got to give them the password. What's the secret passphrase? Okay. Follow that up, Jasmine.
Wow, all right.
Hey, Andy, can you pass that along there? Thank you.
Good. Hi, everyone. I'm Jasmine Greenwald. I am a realtor and investor in both Nebraska and Florida. Single family, small multifamily, short-term rental and long-term rental. And we just wrapped up our Fort Myers Beach triplex, which is going to be a short-term rental yesterday. So
Wrapped it up like construction-wise?
we're getting it up for rent this coming week.
Okay. We haven't talked about specifics on how you operate down there.
Yeah.
Are you self-managing these for the most part, or do you have it?
I do have an in-house person now that she runs all of our rentals. So she does short-term rentals and our long-term rentals. So the whole portfolio, she oversees it. And then if I need to step in, I do. Yeah. So all the short-term rentals in Florida, the long-term rentals in Omaha, and then if she needs me, then she'll just reach out. But yeah, she basically coordinates everything for us now.
Would you be okay? So the triplex, was it a built for purpose type setup?
Yeah. So it was originally a duplex. So in Florida, since it's on Fort Myers Beach, the duplex portion is elevated, and that's about 13 feet up. So hurricanes, water goes under it. They did convert the main floor into one giant main floor unit underneath that, and that was done, like a few years. What? Oh, yeah. And that was just done like a few years after it was built. So that wouldn't be approved today, but because it was grandfathered in, we're allowed to keep that. And it's got cement walls, and tile floors. So worst case scenario, a hurricane comes through, I rip out some kitchen cabinets. But yeah, so the duplex was for purpose, triplex, no.
Was it damaged the hurricanes the last few years?
The main floor flooded during Ian. The other hurricanes, no. The upstairs was never touched, so that was completely fine. But it was the owner had lived there for 40 years, so it hadn't been renovated. So we had to gut basically the whole thing and then make it new again.
Is this the water?
It is about 3 houses from the beach. So
okay, so
right
set back.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. And what do you think you'll be able to get for per unit? What are you going to rent?
So Fort Myers Beach is very seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer months, like right now, we'll probably get $150 per night per unit, and in the winter months, we'll probably get $500 or $600 a night per unit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So worth it, obviously. Yeah.
And we're gonna BRRRR it too, so we'll pull all our money out after this is wrapped up.
When you're looking at this one in particular, do you just like, do you buy it cash? Do you buy it using bank financing and then with the intent of
Yeah.
refinancing after into permanent debt?
Yeah, so we do bank financing up front for the building, and then I basically all of the renovations pay in cash,
Yeah.
and then refinance it afterwards, and then typically
It-
pull all the money back out.
Is your bank like takeout lender when you have it all done and you're looking to refi and recoup some of your rehab costs? Are they located in Florida?
I have used ones in Florida, and then I have also used banks that are in Nebraska.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
Do you think that's more based on the strength of you as a borrower versus the geographic market? Yeah. So they're like, okay, you have a track record.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. Well, now what about flood insurance? That would be mine.
Yeah, flood insurance is expensive. So the properties there, we pay anything from like $5,000 to $9,000 a year for flood insurance. However, the property taxes are so much lower in Florida that it kind of offsets it, because I look at a property there. So the one on Fort Myers Beach, I mean, if you had that property in Nebraska, you'd pay 2 to 3 times the property taxes that we do on that property. So it really just offsets the flood insurance costs. So
I never looked at it that way. That makes a lot of sense to me, because that was, we talked a couple of years ago. My wife and I were looking for possibly a vacation condo, and we love Fort Myers Beach. We used to go there all the time. And then I was like, yeah, I think so. And then hurricane comes, and then one right after that, and I'm like, okay, maybe we'll just rent when we go down there.
Well, and honestly, so we have had properties flood before during Hurricane Ian. So it was almost a Cat 5 hurricane. So, I mean, as high as it gets. And we did have one flood with about a foot of water, but we had cash reserves. So instead of waiting on insurance to get approvals to fix it up, we had the whole thing turned around in a month. And then people were paying also premium pricing to rent it at that time, because you had all the contractors coming in that were trying to fix everything. So because we had to turn around so quickly, we raised our prices even higher to charge those contractors to stay. And
well, plus, so there's more demand from the contractors. Plus, there's less housing available because it all got wiped out. And you're like, hey, I'm here.
It actually worked out. I don't want to say well, but it did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. So, okay, one thing I'm curious about, do you I know you're licensed there.
Yeah.
Do you look for people like us that?
Yeah, I just had a final walkthrough yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you have somebody in Florida that will do a video walkthrough with you? Okay.
Yeah, I do, in multiple locations. So Tampa, Sarasota, Miami, and then Fort Myers area. I've got people all there, and then I have one person that kind of runs 30A.
And are you kind of, I guess, positioning yourself as like, hey, you can get a turnkey cash flowing short-term rental in Fort Myers Beach or right along the the Gulf area, wherever you operate?
Yeah.
Is that how you kind of pitch it? I've got management, or do you kind of stay out of that part?
So if people are interested in short-term rentals, I'll obviously help guide them through that. I do not heavily market selling real estate in Florida. I mean, I do help people.
Yep.
But I primarily get it for our deals and then friends and family. But I will help other people in the area as well. I mean, I do closings there. It's just
okay. This is being live streamed, by the way.
Oh, hi. Yes, please call me.
No, I'm kidding. Interesting. Okay.
Hello, all. I'm Stephanie Eckert. So I am a newer investor. I love this group because I just learned so much just in halfway through on the table. So I am kind of finalizing and boiling down what my buy box is, right? What I like to look for, what I don't like so far. I'm just kind of making a mental list of the opportunities that I've been looking at just in the last week, and they range from, I won't go into a ton of detail because it would take a ton of time, but 2 MLS that are on the property, 150 plus dates. The photos suck. They probably had 0 looks, right? Definitely too high, right? So that's value right there. Distressed properties, obviously, and I haven't went like deep diving in for much of these. It's just stuff that I've noticed as I'm going about my daily life and work and all the stuff. So yeah, distressed properties, stumbled across the pre-probate opportunity. So right now I'm in the flooded stage of shiny objects and trying to figure out like what do I like, right?
Mhm.
And really just not getting committed to any certain thing, just kind of pulling them apart and learning as I go. I guess my main challenge now is, okay, I've identified value, I know the angle, I know what we're gonna do. Then, I'm gonna go make an approach, right? Go start talking through these deals. Do I do this on my own? Do I need to bring anyone in at that point, right? Just people that are smarter that, we're gonna pay obviously for assistance and partnerships and all that. So just kind of taking the fire hose approach, right? But learning a lot, really appreciate all of the guidance and yeah.
Do you mind if I pick on you for a second?
Yeah, please.
How long have you been in the learning by drinking out of the fire hose stage?
Good question. So I mentioned I haven't been over to the new location since you guys moved. We were really close on offering last October, and then we had just personal, just health stuff, and it just kind of put the kibosh. Everything happens for a reason, right? So just coming back around to it. Really like this summer and this spring, like getting it really serious. So we hope to get something under contract before the end of the year and just really just start taking steps.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a little mini challenge here.
Okay.
There's a term I love and use a lot that I didn't make up, but it's bacon and eggs. The chicken's involved, but the pig is committed.
Of course.
So, do you like being involved? And it's fun learning and networking and doing the things without actually having to sign anything, and it gets real. So are you involved or are you committed? Are you bacon or eggs?
Question. So backstory, I have a day job. I spent 18 years in insurance sales, coaching, mentoring, leading. So I know what that looks like, right? Our long-term plan, right, is to have that be more of a big part. So
the coaching aspect?
No, the real estate aspect.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm definitely not in the paralysis of analysis, but I'm ready to move forward. So I guess I'm in that stage of, I'm learning, I'm taking everything in one by one, or am I going to be seeking out partners, right, to start figuring this out and just kind of next level up my knowledge. So
do you find yourself like, and I'm sorry, I don't mean,
okay.
You're probably like, oh my God, everybody's looking at me.
No, not at all.
But do you find yourself to the point where there's so many shiny objects that it's hard, or are you getting to the point where it's narrowing down and you're like, I think our first move is to buy a flip to get some cash? Is your first move to buy a single family rental and burr it? What are you gravitating toward right now?
So long term, we want to do long term buy and hold. So we're looking for quality assets, something, 60s or newer. We're not in the position where we have to do flips, for capital. We can pick something nicer to begin with, but we're not going to overpay, right? We're trying to just really find the right value. The last deal, just this last week, we got pretty further down the line, and we were looking at it. It was a parcel that had two parcels, right? So one property, additional parcel attached to it. So, contacted, all the city, figure out, okay, can we build on this? Turns out we can't. So that's kind of where I'm at, right? Just running down each lead, trying to learn as I determine what really is the most valuable to just, take the first step. So.
Okay, give me a couple zip codes. Where are you looking?
So we live in Plattsmouth. We live right across the river in Cass County, but I work in Omaha, so I'm everywhere. We lived in Omaha for 20 years too. So
one thing I'd encourage you to do is if you're looking for properties that need work, off-market stuff, you're looking at the MLS, aging listings are always good, crappy pictures, people that obviously haven't been paying attention to getting marketing done properly. So those are always good leads, but have you networked with any wholesalers?
No, not really. No, I know a few, but not really.
Okay. If you want to incorporate that into your lead funnel, so it's everything that goes in the top gets either filtered out or it comes out the bottom. And the bottom is where you are going to actually make offers on stuff, right? So the more leads you have, and I know you know this, but it's worth talking about this to people that are getting stuck at various points. So if you because you may be like, I don't know any wholesalers. I don't have time to go to the monthly meetup, and like it just seems like such a daunting process. But do this: Google "sell my house fast," and every "sell my house fast" in Omaha, or "I need to sell my house," something like that. All of those websites that come up are probably wholesalers, or they may be people that buy off market and flip. Like Andy does that. You may find my atrocious website out there. But a lot of them are wholesalers, and the easiest way to contact them is just be like, hey, there's a contact us form. You can send that in and be like, I'm looking to buy deals. I'd love to be on your buyers list. And then give them some information about where exactly you're looking. And the reason I asked you what zip codes, you're either specific and you're going to get leads, or you're general and you'll get nothing. If you're like, I want a deal, I don't care as long as it makes sense. Like we talked about this so many times, Ted, right? With different people on our podcast and the meetup groups, like get specific. That's when the deals start coming in that actually fit your criteria. Because otherwise it's like, hey, I need a deal. And I'm not going to remember that. We'll leave. But if you're like, I'm looking specifically in Benson or in, Plattsmouth or wherever, I see a deal that comes up in Plattsmouth, I'm going to call her before Rob, probably. Rob lives in Plattsmouth. But no, I'm kidding. But anyway, I'll get off your case about that. But I would just encourage you, like, I know, like, it's fun learning about this stuff, but when it comes to actually like putting pen to paper and being like, okay, it's go time, like that's the commitment time. So I'm curious to see what you do before the end of the year. So you have to come back.
Yeah.
All right.
I have your number, so I'll text you next time I'm in the office.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Hello, I'm Jenna Johnson. I moved here about 6 months ago with my husband for his job. He's in the Army. I've been an agent in Des Moines for a little over 7 years and just got my Nebraska license. We came to Omaha with 1 unit in Des Moines, just closed on a fourplex, which is super exciting.
In Omaha?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were even working on that.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
I had to write 3 different offers on it. They did not want our VA loan at all, but we got it. So that's exciting. We're house hacking. So we're moving out of your place and gonna house hack.
Boo.
I know.
She's been staying in my one of my apartments at the penthouse unit for the last 6 months. So
Yeah.
I'm happy and sad at the same
Yeah,
time.
super thankful for that place. It's been great. But it sounds like they maybe have some new tenants coming in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's great.
Right back to the Airbnb.
No. Nope. It's not gonna happen. Yeah. When the elevator started randomly, this is before you moved in, obviously, but I don't know if you heard this story. The elevator in the penthouse unit, you have to have a key to get up there, and it'll take you literally right into the living room. It's like my kids used to watch this show called Jessie on like, I don't know if you guys have kids that watch that. They had the penthouse elevator, came up right into their living room. It's kind of like that at a much smaller scale. But people would just hit floor 2 and then they'd end up in the penthouse.
Oh no.
I had a buddy staying there, thank God, that he's like, is it normal for people to just walk your living room? Freaked out. Anyway, that was for you. But
Yeah, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
My husband would be pissed.
the fourplex, what part of town? Midtown?
So Blackstone, we are 38th and Dodge, right on that, south of Dodge. So
Is it a built for purpose or is it a converted?
It's a converted.
Okay.
So it's got one really nice unit. It's a 2-bedroom, hardwood floors, dining room.
Did you stake your
big
claim on
room.
that unit?
What's that?
Just did you stake your claim on that unit? Is
No,
that the one?
someone's in there. We're taking a small one.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so someone's in that one, and then when we bought it, there was one vacant unit. So we just we're working on moving stuff into that one. It's a 1-bedroom, and then the other 2 are kind of like studio. The kitchens are separate, but then it's kind of like the bedroom and living room is one space. So they're pretty small. We're just excited that we got something because man, people hate VA loans. So.
And are you closing it with a VA loan then?
Yeah, we did.
So no money out of pocket, and
Right.
that's the idea, right?
Yep.
Amazing.
So we paid $4,000. They paid $10,000 of our closing costs. My husband doesn't have disability, unfortunately, and fortunately. We paid $4,000 out of pocket and living in it. I think we just got a couple $100. Basically, we're paying utilities and they're paying our.
So you're going to get almost all of your housing expenses paid for.
Yeah.
This is the quintessential house hack. This is the thing. VA, you have the best financing for you.
Yep.
The best situation with a live-in, like you're maximizing the amount of a qualifying loan that you can get. This is amazing.
Yeah, we're excited. We're super excited. So we'll live there for at least a year with a VA loan, maybe 2, just for capital gains reasons. We'll see. And then, we'll do it again. So it's kind of our plan.
Love this.
Yeah, now that we've closed on that, I've been like itching to do a flip, which I've talked about in here before. But we didn't want to mess anything up with this being under our names and everything. So I just kind of put it on hold. I've been looking at wholesaler stuff. have made some offers, but I feel like my wholesaler properties that I look at, the numbers just never
Yeah.
work for me. So I make offers which that work for me, and obviously they never take them, which is fine. So I think now that we've closed on this, I will seriously start looking at like MLS stuff and make a bunch of offers on that. So.
Quick survey, Andy and Nathan. I'm going to pick on you two. What have you guys? I don't know how much marketing you do, but you guys are. I'm assuming you do. You track how many like offers to deals it takes.
So yeah, I track all that, but I don't do any marketing. It's all either wholesalers, referrals, or direct to sellers.
Do you know off the top of your head, like roughly how many offers it takes to get a deal for you? I know you're kind of working with off-market stuff.
Around like 5 to 10 deals sent to us a week,
Mhm.
and then I normally walk a quarter of them, and then we offer on every one that we walk, and then it's normally half of that.
Okay.
Around like 4.
So 1 out of 8,
Yeah.
roughly.
Yep.
Math. I don't know. Anybody listening, don't fact check me on that. But Andy, are you finding similar?
I do a different approach. I actually get a very small number of deals sent to me. I've done a great job networking with wholesalers.
Yep.
My takeaway from today is for wholesalers. But I do a lot of marketing. I would say my funnel, everything that comes in at the top of my funnel, I close about 1 out of 30.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I'm just trying to think how it's rated. Of course, I don't know these numbers off the top of my head.
How many do you visit?
I probably visit, out of those 30, I actually visit about 7 or 8. And of the ones that I visit, I tell half of them to buy stuff. At least half the ones I walk. Because for whatever reason, my marketing attracts a significant number of people with perfect houses that don't need what I sell, which is they don't need to close quickly. They don't need as is kind of opportunities. So they should not discount, but they need to discount to attract me. So I'm very direct with them about that.
I do like this. So I mean, these are good data points for like, Jenna, you were mentioning like I'm working with wholesalers, but I feel like that's almost retail pricing for the condition it's in, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, like the numbers, obviously their numbers, I feel like hardly ever are what my numbers are. So I just, I guess one of my questions is, like I listen to Back Pocket, and they say typically like if you want to put 35,000 into renovations, you typically want to get about the same out. Is that kind of what everyone else feels? Because that's kind of what I'm doing, sometimes a little less, and then that's what I offer. And yeah, it's usually like I feel like 20, 30 grand of less than what they're asking.
I'll give my opinion on that, and then I'm curious if anybody differs from this. I would say that's a pretty good general rule of thumb. Yeah. It also has, I mean, it comes into play like what part of town and how quickly you think that property can sell. So if there's something like in Millard or Elkhorn or like Exarban or somewhere where there's pretty low inventory and it's going to sell if you price it right, there's some value to that that's hard to quantify because you can accept a lower profit margin if you're not going to be holding it through the winter or having to cut your price, do a bunch of, inspection, repair, stuff like that. So I would say the ease of the back end of selling it is going to play a factor into what your profit is acceptable. I don't know if you guys look at it that way, but I take that into consideration too. But I'd say, yeah, dollar in, dollar out is generally a pretty good rule of thumb. It's kind of hard to get sometimes if you're doing like, say, a $60,000 remodel.
Right.
It's those are hard to find. I would say in Omaha, depending on the price point that you're operating in. Your exit price is $500K. That's a whole different conversation than if it's $250,000 starter house.
Yeah,
right?
Most of them that I'm looking at are 200, 250.
Yeah.
And need 30, 40, 50 grand into it. So
yeah, so I think but I never liked the percentage approach. A lot of people will operate on that. They'll say 70% of the ARV minus repairs, and that's generally a good buffer for you to be able to operate. But I don't like that because on your really high priced homes and then your really low priced homes, that can get so skewed. So I like more of just subtracting my profit directly than taking a straight percentage of whatever the ARV is. I don't know if you guys do that too, but that's what I like to do.
I've developed kind of a hybrid approach. I look at the percentage, but I kind of have a number that I'm kind of shooting for, and I'll maybe go down 10 or up 10.
Yep.
But my operations, I'm really time constrained more than anything else. I have enough slots in my calendar to do roughly 10 rehabs at a time, and so I need to make what I need to make on 10 on each rehab.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of how I think about it. And if I have an easy one, I'll say I'll make $10,000 less, and if I have a hard one, I'll make $10,000 more.
Yeah. The hard thing to quantify too is like when you get to a point where you've got in-house people that maybe you have a project manager that's running your stuff, maybe you've got people that are handling different aspects of your business that's not you, your operating expenses are going to be higher. Therefore, you might be able to operate on a little bit leaner budget than somebody like Andy who's got a big crew. Yes, you can probably negotiate cheaper rehab costs, but there's always trade-offs in that because you have payroll.
Well, exactly. Like I have to have a $50,000 spread to make the same amount of money that you're going to make on a $30,000.
Yep. So,
and because I have a project manager and an in-house handyman who's doing half the stuff.
Yep.
All this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, but I would just say, first of all, kudos to you for that fourplex VA house hack. That's chef's kiss. But don't get discouraged if you're feeling like, oh, I made an offer, but like I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
30-1. I mean, you heard Andy say it for leads, and now he's making offers on. It sounds like roughly about the same conversion rate as far as stuff you walk to stuff you actually get under contract and end up buying. But
yeah, I think that's part of my issue is I feel like we've been holding off with this fourplex needing to close, and I just need to I was talking to Jerry about it. She's like, just write one a day, just write offers because you'll get one eventually. So
yeah,
I just need to write.
Yep. No, I love that. Yeah. Did you have something else?
I was gonna say, when it goes back to when we think about what we do as a business and how there's the things you can control and things you can't. I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. Like, how many houses you buy, you can't control. What you control is how many offers you make, how many offers you look, how many houses you look at, those sorts of things. So your job is not to buy houses. Your job is to make offers.
Mm-hmm.
And if people take them, cool.
Yeah.
And you just stop caring if they make them, if they take them, just hammer it out.
And then what happens too is like you may make 15 and get none, and then all of a sudden the next 3 you may get all of them. So it's a lot of averages and over a longer period of time too. But man, I'm not jealous, but like that is a really cool move. I'm spot on with that.
Stephanie, just thinking, doing that practice, going through like, what would this house take?
The underwriting.
I did that for like a year and a half. And I got really good so that, and then of course you miss something about the next one.
Well, the nice thing, Kathy, the nice thing too now, especially, is like it makes it so much easier with like Claude or Chat or whatever your AI flavor of the week is. You can track those things later too, because you can do. I always found it fun to underwrite, and then I'd get scared to make an offer when I first started. But I like to see if I was right or wrong, and I'd be like, okay, that looks like a $30,000 rehab. That looks like this and that looks like an ARV of whatever $200,000, and then go back and measure that later. It's kind of like, when you're trying to learn how to day trade stocks, which I'm also not good at, you can, track and see what what it did over a period of time. And that's almost as much fun as actually doing it because there's no risk. But the scorecard is really telling. If you do enough of those, you get in the habit of underwriting a couple deals a day. And then maybe you get to a point where you're doing more than that. And then you're making an offer a day. And then you're like, oh God, I don't have 5 of them. So anyway, it's just that's the fun part about it when you're dealing with crappy rehabs. That's the part that gets a little trying after a while. But you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi all. I'm Angel Jacobo. I'm new into this. I'm 2 weeks into my mentor. Trying to just like focusing on single family, flips, burrs. I'm in the process right now of like private funding. I have like a close family relationship that I'm building with. He does like plumbing and all that, which I'm trying to build that relationship for his kind of private funding and also work with him in the future. But yeah, I'm pretty new. I'm only 2 weeks into my mentor program. Just trying to get first deal. I'm kind of eager.
It gets overwhelming, doesn't it? Because they're just like, oh my God, I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of information, but I like really want to get into a deal. Like, I'm like,
Program are you in?
what was that?
What program are you in?
Wyatt Simon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got into his program, and he's been a great guy. I cut his hair. I'm a barber. I cut his hair.
Oh, you're
yeah. And now he's a great guy. He's helping me as much as he can. I'm having like 5 meetings a week, just trying to network and wholesalers, agents, just whoever I'll end up needing. It's been great. Everyone's been nice. Everyone's been very inviting.
Can you think of maybe a couple things? I know you're a couple weeks into this, so it's all probably new, but
yeah.
Anything that stuck out as one of the most surprising things? You're like, oh my God, I wouldn't have never known this if I hadn't have gone through this process. Anything jump out at you?
More of like not needing tons of like capital. Like I always thought like, oh, I needed $200,000 to get into real estate, but from the more I've been learning, I've been hearing like the private funding, and then going to the hard money and all these different ways that you can just kind of make it happen. Or like the wholesalers, like since I've been connecting with a lot of wholesalers, how cheap you can get houses for. I would have never thought you can get houses for this cheap, But I think that's kind of the more things that stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your plan to do like transactional real estate, like wholesaling and flipping to start, or are you looking to get into rentals? Like, what's your?
So I'm looking to get into fix and flips, and then burrs when I need them, or for like tax purposes. And eventually, my like 5 to 8 year goal is what is it called? Development. I really want to get into developing like new homes and neighborhoods and stuff when I have more capital, and I got more knowledge in real estate.
Yeah, good for you. Well, thanks for coming, man. This is great.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Nikki?
Hi, I'm Nikki Mahoney. I'm not going to say much today because Michael's actually here, and I'm usually just kind of the face of what he's doing on his work. I'm kind of the back office person. And then I also have a STEAM educational program that I run here in Omaha called Challenge Island. We work with children of all ages, and also
is Challenge Island in Secret City?
Yes, Challenge Island isn't. No, we were talking about Secret City earlier, and my jokes about that. And then I also do accounting, bookkeeping, and small business consulting with a real estate investor and real estate adjacent companies like contractors, electricians, builders. So I have my foot in a lot of different things.
Love it.
Hello, Michael Freed. Obviously, Nikki and I work together quite a bit. I kind of got into this mostly doing just buy, fix, and holds. That's kind of been my thing. Kind of shifted into doing more Oxford houses. I got like 5 Oxford houses. You'll hear my name with that a lot, probably.
Everybody know what that is?
It's like sober living, and it's that's been good to me. I'm kind of in like a kind of a reload the gun phase, kind of selling off some of the properties that are I'm just ready to move on from, and kind of like densify certain areas, like Mount Norfolk, kind of getting denser in Papillion, and just kind of selling some of the little multifamilies that are scattered throughout like North Omaha and stuff like that.
So you have 5 Oxford houses. Are those a huge pain to get set up?
I don't think they are. It's
your first one. I assuming probably was a little cumbersome.
It was really easy. That was one of the easiest ones. Just had to put a couple knee walls up and a couple egress windows, and that's all I really had to do to get that Oxford house up and running.
How much demand is there for those? Do you hit a point of saturation, or are they needing new housing?
So it does seem like they have like a cycle. They, like right now, I know they're looking for quite a few of them. I think just got one started.
They want to do 10 in the next week.
Are you doing one too?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
After
Okay.
They have a budget for 35 to 40 houses a year though, in Nebraska, right?
Yeah, I don't know how many they've got right now at the moment. I know they were talking about 10, but it just changes. I think if you got a great house that'll work and you bring it to them.
Don't you need a community around that? Don't you need the AAA or the Alcohol Anonymous places, the supporting stuff? You can't have it in.
So like there's certain cities
Middle of
where,
nowhere,
yeah,
right?
there's certain cities where like they don't have, so like Norfolk, for example, I got 3 houses out there and they've got drug court out there. It's like kind of like the hub. That city of Norfolk is the hub for drug court and just a number of different things, rehab facilities and all that. So it's just like a really popular area for all that, just because that's where all the facilities are. So they want houses around there, and within like an hour away, you got Columbus, isn't that far.
Now, okay, so digging one layer further into this, in an Oxford house, my understanding, and mostly from talking to you and Ted about this, is you need a big house with quite a bit of space. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes and no. So like men, they would take 10, 12, 14 men in a house. So you'd want a really big house for that. But women, they don't like to go over maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
Women in a house.
Do they double them up in bedrooms?
So yeah, there's doubling up. You have to have like a full size bed, a dresser, and a nightstand have to be able to fit for it to be considered a bed. So if you got a bedroom that can fit 2 full size beds, 2 nightstands, 2 dressers, then that's obviously it's a double. I like to look for big ranch houses where you've got like a basement and you usually have a second living room down there. And I turn that second living room into, say, a 3-person bedroom with an egress window. And then house like that, you usually have another bedroom down there anyways, sometimes 2. So you might have 5 or 6 beds down in one of those.
And now, is the benefit that you basically, similar to what Andy was talking about earlier, I can't remember if you were here, but he had a corporate lease signed, completely different situation, but is that what you're dealing with here? So you have the Oxford organization, you're signing lease with them, or how does that, who pays your bills?
Well, no, it's technically a single family rental, and it's a family of people in recovery.
Okay.
And that's how it's actually it's like protected by fair housing. So
okay.
It's protected by fair housing because it's a family of people in recovery. And if you're drug or alcohol addicted, that's an actual like a disability.
Yeah.
And they're exempt from the 3 unrelated persons in a house.
And there's a person.
More than 3, I'm sorry.
Come again?
And they're exempt from the more than 3 unrelated people.
Right. So that
you
that
can have 6 tenants.
Correct.
The lease is actually written by Oxford.
The lease, yeah, I've modified the lease a little bit just so that it worked for me but it works for them. I didn't change it a whole lot. But what was I just about to say about it? It's signed by somebody representative, of Oxford House.
Yep.
But each house is independent. It's not part of the greater organization. It's independent, and there's outreach worker that is with the organization of Oxford House that works with each individual house. So the houses in Norfolk, I've got Oxford House, Nebraska, Oxford House Husker, and Oxford House Box Elder. And those 3 houses are all just independent and they take care of themselves. They do help each other out if there's issues and, something happens and they need to, help fund something or help each other out. So there's a network there that they kind of stick together.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. This is a.
But do you have a better rent price when you do that?
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing. If you got 10 or 12 guys living in a house, you're going to have a lot more probably wear and tear. So like, over time, that wear and tear, it's probably going to have higher costs. You do have higher rents. You can negotiate a little bit higher rents than you would like typical market rents. So my thoughts are when I remodel or whatever, I just put in commercial grade, heavy duty flooring and stuff like that, so that you don't have to worry about that wearing out like in a year or 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rents are higher, but you got to negotiate that. So
But one of the big advantages, I think, is it's a 2-year lease we signed, but Ken and you kind of backed it up as like, once they're in for a long time. So there's no term that you're having to worry about.
Yeah, eliminate unit turns every year or 2 years.
Yep.
How you come up with that number, like for how much you want for rent?
I mean, there's
like so like I have a 3-2 on 33rd and Oak. It needs to fit 6 beds at least, and you can't just like take a 120 square foot room and say like you can fit 2 here.
Bunk beds.
Yeah.
I'm sure Oxford has
you
a
need,
number.
Yeah, you need. It's good to get familiar with what they require, because I start using that on deals I'm underwriting now. Like, oh, would it work for Oxford? So for like 6 beds, you can get 2,000 in there, and then every bed you can adds like 3.
It could, like I said, you got to negotiate that. Yeah. So
if you give you 2 beds in the room,
it depends on how big that room is. But your normal like small bedroom, you can't like just fit 2 in there.
And how do you deal with partial unit turns? Like if one guy moves out, you still got 3 other living there.
They take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one more question I was thinking about, because like brought this up, like Oxford houses several times. Having you on the podcast I didn't know any of the stuff that you were just talking about. But are there? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know a lot back then. Still don't. But are there property managers that can handle this? They're very well versed in it, or is this something where you're taking it on and you're the interface between the caseworker?
I just got my broker's license, and we just started Reserve Realty and Gold Shield Property Management. So yeah, I do handle management of Oxford houses.
Okay. All right. Okay. One layer deeper here. Let's say someone in this room has a house that they're having a really hard time selling that is set up like an up-down duplex, Victorian style, pretty big, and they wanted you to take a look at it. Could you give an opinion on what that might look like?
Oxford house or not?
Yeah,
absolutely. But you would have to make it like a single contiguous unit.
Yeah.
So like if you have a side-by-side duplex and you can knock a hole in the wall, boom. I mean, that would work great as long as it's in the area they want to be. They want some businesses around.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
Conversions could be a great for this too, because I have like 5
Yes.
so conversion. They're like, you just gotta take all the front doors off that are added, as long as it's all opened up.
Huh.
So where a city might shut down conversion, as long as it's one utility.
Yeah.
Those shit things that nobody wants.
Yeah.
Those can work if the area works.
Okay.
Parking has disqualified a lot of mine too. Like you need.
Does it have to have like street parking is not sufficient? It has.
Street's fine, but like corner lots work really well.
Okay.
But if you just have like a little driveway and no back alley or anything, it's gonna be hard.
I've had to expand driveways, and I try to pick corner lots.
Okay. This is super helpful.
Cul-de-sacs.
No cul-de-sacs.
It's tough for smaller communities to have this, because they don't have the support piece. They're not close to businesses, or there's no public transportation. There's none of that.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they just get a cab or something like that.
Yeah, it's ideal to have businesses that they could bike to, or even walk to if necessary.
So hypothetically speaking, let's say I'm correct.
Bless you. Everybody's sneezing in here. You notice that?
When I go and underwrite this thing, what do I, as the manager, owner, person who's self-managing, this actually do after the tenants are in place? What's my day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year, beyond collecting rent and basic? You don't really. Do you take maintenance calls beyond major emergency maintenance stuff?
I do. It's pretty minor. I mean, you can just.
Like the usual broken toilet type stuff?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of small stuff they just handle. I tend to get probably more calls with the Women's Oxford House to look at or have things taken care of.
I was told by the guy Ken, $100 or less. Yeah, $100 or less. They just handle it. Anything over that, they'll call us.
But do you get the same sort of calls? Because I don't self-manage my regular residentials because I don't like maintenance calls.
You do have to remember, so a lot of these people are that are living there. They drug addicts, alcoholics. They've been through issues. They've had a rough life, and they don't necessarily have all the skills and life knowledge of taking care of a place.
Right.
And so you get calls and questions. And so sometimes it's calls and questions. I'm like, yep, call Major Drain. They'll come out and they'll clean that drain for you. Don't put so much toilet paper or, whatever.
Don't dump an entire pot of spaghetti down the garbage disposal and expect it to work.
So there is some of that stuff because these people don't have all that experience. So
yeah.
And is all these people living in the house that calls?
Usually there's a representative that kind of is the person.
I feel like we need to have you stand up here in one of these weeks and give us a good breakdown of the stuff.
I can put together a whole slideshow.
That'd be interesting. I think it would be. Okay.
I can put together kind of like the Oxford deals.
Yeah.
Financials.
Let's do it. Yeah, this would be great. Okay, we're at 11 o'clock. I don't want to forget everybody else in the room here. Brett, you want to give a quick?
Sure. A contractor. We do kitchen and bathroom remodels. We have 6 of those right now, and we're doing our first running a reno for another flipper, and that's going pretty well. And then 3 flips, and the last 6 months we've been starting more buy and holds, and so we have 4 doors, and in the process of furnishing for an Airbnb.
Hey, is your dad? Are you guys still teamed up and all that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah. I loved that conversation we had that night at the RIA with him.
Yes.
Cool. Want to go next?
My name is Swain. I have a floor business and a countertop business. I'm a fabricator, granite quartz fabrication. I've been investing in real estate since 2011. So I always have a project on.
Do you your rentals? Do you have mostly single family?
Single families, yeah.
Yep. Do you like that?
I'd be okay.
Yeah. Any aspirations to get into any other asset classes like multifamily, commercial, anything like that?
Yes, it's always open for options.
Cool. Are you looking for anything in your business right now?
More clients, yep. And always good to learn. I just learned something new here with them, and I have 2 big properties that I find sometimes the big properties is kind of pain in the ass, put this way.
Yeah. Well, and
so for renting,
what I'm thinking of. Sorry, well, I'll come right back to you. But when you were talking about Oxford houses, immediately my mind went to a lot of major cities start with a downtown area, right? And those were built generally in the early 1900s, and you have these bigger Victorian style houses. A lot of them get chopped up into conversions. And you can usually buy those for a pretty decent price, but like Ted mentioned, you have problems with the city on split utilities, things like that that don't conform to code now. But I was thinking in and around Omaha, you got downtown to about past Park Ave. You got a lot of older housing stock. North Omaha, South Omaha, Council Bluffs near the downtown area has a lot of those style houses that you can pick up for $150,000. That are 5 bedrooms. I mean, you can't find these all the time, but they need some work. But if you had them rehab to a point where you can get, if they qualified for Oxford House. What are you saying about CB?
There's just certain areas. I couldn't get the 4-plex that happened 36 in Dodge. That was 2 blocks off Dodge because it was too close to a drug known area.
Sometimes some of those neighborhoods are oversaturated already. And they're trying to, so think about these individuals want to live in a nice house.
Yep.
Maybe they've never had that opportunity before. So they want houses in nicer, newer areas as well. So that's probably more of the focus. They've looked at, Ralston, Papillion, Elkhorn, Gretna, stuff like that, where they can have a nicer neighborhood. Lawyers are alcoholics and drug addicts too, right? So they might want to live in a, you know, in a nicer neighborhood
Yeah.
or whatever.
Like a fiveplex in Ralston.
But that's commercial. It won't count.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the only reason mine worked is because it was conversion, and I would have done some significant work to it.
Interesting. All right.
In North though, those Oxford houses would work probably because I got a big quarter lot.
They've got some houses, but there are businesses around there. Like I said, they might be a little saturated in some of those areas. What they've told me is they're looking. I've shown them a few houses and they've been like,
They don't like to be there, but you go look.
Is a good litmus test if you walk out of the front door of the property and you go less than a block and you can buy a prostitute or a blow. That's probably not an area that they're going to allow it. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, first filter.
I always show them the address first and let them shoot it down before I go there.
That is a great tip right there. All right, Tedison.
Yeah, Ted Kosh, and I'm also a realtor. Also have my broker's license. And this week I bought my second car wash. I'll be the second one this year. So, yeah.
Well, you can talk about it now. So UTAN, right?
Yeah, I bought one in Utan, Nebraska. Trying to buy small car washes in towns that have no car washes. And so it's just a 3-bay car wash, and picked up for $150. Came with about $35,000 to $40,000 in equipment. It's been condemned for 3 years due to a freeze. We are renovating. I got the plumbing already all fixed. We are working with Axel Foley to do the new equipment. I took the appraiser out for a cigar and whiskey last week. He told me that the land was worth about $250 as it sits, and said I had to pay him if I want more. But he said it'll be worth a lot more. So which pretty nice equity play on that one. And before it shut down, it was making a little over $60,000 a year profit. So should be a nice little buy.
I gotta share this. I met with an old electrician buddy of mine the other day, and we were just talking about some potential business opportunities. And he told me, like, starting out, like, the best thing you can do is go out and find somebody that owns a car wash, because you can get $2 or $3 grand in work every single month fixing electrical stuff.
Guilty.
I just gotta throw it out there. I thought.
My Louisville car wash, it breaks down 3 times a week. And so that's why this one we're doing all new components inside of it, because it's such a bitch. Yeah, like right now, I was so excited. I waited for 3 months for all these new credit card machines. After I replaced all the bill machines and replaced all this other crap. And within about 3 hours, I got a phone call on that bay. Finally opened it up, and they're like, "Oh, it took my money." I'm like, "What up?" You know, because I'm messing with wires and I don't know all that shit too well. Went out there, and yep, the transformer blew up, and then the guy I hired to installed it backwards, which burned out like 6 other components, and now I'm paying a specialist to go there, chase wires, find out all the stuff that's burned out.
Wow.
And so yeah, and it's just like 1,000 after 1,000 after 1,000.
Man, well, guys, thank you for sharing all this today. This was actually probably the most fun I've had in this group for a while, just digging into each individual story. The deal diaries of the Caffeine and Cap Rates group here. But I appreciate everybody's perspective, and we had a nice mix of people here today, of those people just starting out, those who just bought a house hack. We've got commercial lender in the house. We've got people finding crazy deals in Ralston. So this was a lot of fun. But if you guys think of any topics or speakers or anything that you want to dig more into, like Michael, you know, with the Oxford House thing, it's such a niche within a niche that I think it'd be fun to kind of like do a little deep dive into that. Please hit me up on stuff like that, because it, you know, coming up with things that keep you guys entertained and you know, keep learning is always my goal. And it gets, you know, you guys know a lot more than me about a lot of things, so it's hard to come up with this every week. So I appreciate any help there. But yeah, with that being said, any topics that are top of mind that you want to dig more into? Sweet. All right. Well, that's all I got. You don't have to leave, but I do. So appreciate you coming. Tell a friend about this if you got some value out of the group. I'd always appreciate it. And coffee's on me. Full breakfast that Ted always gets is on him.
just a shout out to on Tuesday, we have Colin Schwartz speaking on AI at on a Tuesday event. Should be a packed house. We're really excited about that one. And then our September event, we're also doing a wholesale event. So wholesaling rules are changing heavily this week, depending on how the voting goes. If you do have a real estate license, you will get 3 credit hours. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn downtown, September 16th. It's going to be from 9 to 12, 8 to 1 if you include like the happy hour and the coffee time and whatnot. But just go to riamasteryseries.com for your tickets, or if you have any questions about that today before you leave, let me know. But like I said, it's all about how to legal wholesale. And Paul Pacheski, which is he serves on the Nebraska Real Estate Commission, is the presenter for that whole entire event. We are hoping to have about 150 people at this event. So if you have any questions, let me know. Realty One Group is sponsoring it. They do heavy wholesaling, so they're making anybody in their brokerage that does wholesaling has intended to be able to keep doing it. That's how important it is. And then I know that there's some other brokerages we're talking.
You want to meet wholesalers? This is the place to be.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
So yeah, make sure you guys hit that up. Also, shameless plug. Ted and I have a podcast, for those of you who don't know, called the Cash and Dash Show. We're always looking for good guests, and also stuff we like reading on air. So if we have an email is onair@cashanddash.com. Send us a question. We'd love to make fun of it on the air.
And if you're in this room and you're doing deals and we haven't talked to you, then like let's get you on.
Yeah, for sure. But thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate it.